in the subway and meet up with him the next day for lunch. So I did. The whole time at lunch, he's sitting there looking at his phone. Probably got something going on down there, um, because he's staring at pictures of this guy he's planning on hooking up with, and he's rushing me. I didn't know at the time. I didn't have a phone because I told him to throw mine away. He did, and in case they were tracking me. So he sent me. We were, we he was rushing, saying it was 6 o'clock. It turned out to be 2 o'clock. I asked someone what time it was after he dropped me off. After he tried to drop me off at a shelter, which wasn't happening because there was police everywhere and they wanted your social security and everything. I wasn't going to get my ID out because I was a runaway. And so I wound up sleeping in the subway. And I saw him running. That was the last I ever saw of him because he went to his hookup. And so yeah, spent 10 nights in the subway, living in the subway. Met this guy who had 10 different personalities and everything. Stayed with him for a week. Things went sour with him because he went crazy on me. And then after that, met up with this heroin addict and spent the night with him. And watched him and his friend shoot up. I didn't do any of that. I never want to shoot up. But I came back to the train station where he was doing his deals and everything, and then stayed there. And this really fat, morbidly obese guy came and offered me a place to stay if I had orally pleased him every night. So I said, okay, I'm game. I got on this bus and smelled something awful. It was him. And every chance I got when I was in New York, I would go to the payphone and call my parents. And if I didn't have enough money, I would go and I'd call Brian and see how things were in Maryland. I would go to a Sprint store and use the phone there. And yeah. So when I went back to his house, the heroin dealer took me to New Jersey, dropped me off at the train station. Did his deals. That was at New Jersey train station. You know, when the fat guy came up to pick me up, I come to find out he was sneaking me into his senior center and going to keep me there for company and sex the whole time. And I kept pulling, I'm too tired, Carl. We'll do it tomorrow. And then I finally asked him for money and for the bus home. And I called my parents on his cell phone. They said there was a warrant out for my arrest. So I went there. I went back to the train station and my parents picked me up because I figured I'd have a place to sleep at night and it wouldn't be for long. Turned out that I was in jail. I was in jail for My parents turned me in, took me back to Maryland, turned me in. I was in jail for 11 months. I started having something that no one ever had in jail. That was what's called a furlough. A furlough, if you don't know, a furlough is something where, you're out of jail. It's like if you play a Monopoly game and you get a get out of jail free card. That's what it is. So, yeah, I got furloughs just so the judge would see how well I deal with being back home with my parents. I would go home with my parents, and first furlough was Christmas. So I went and went home for Christmas, and it went well. So then we went back, got furloughs again, and then eventually we had a court date, and the judge was considering house arrest. This was back in about August. So I lost, I was excited at first. I was losing hope. I didn't think I would ever see the light of day again, be out of jail permanently. But then, I got excited about that in August and then lost hope again until October 17th when I called my mom and she said, Chase, the judge approved house arrest. So after that, I went home. I mean, that weekend I went home. I was home with an ankle bracelet. Well, December came. I got a job offer at Liberty Tax where I worked when I was at the group home, one of my jobs. And so I requested a court date, December 17th I got off house arrest of last year, and they put me on regular probation. So I went to Liberty Tax. I was home and I loved it. I was with my cat. I loved my cat. Love her. She lived for 19 years. So I was home. I'm home now. Obviously I'm home. You know, Finally get home and my cat's blind. She's blind as a bat. Had a stroke while I was in jail. So I'm taking care of her and everything, and I go to Costco. It was about let's see, no, I get on Facebook, right? This was a long time ago. I get on Facebook, and I being through the slow and painful hell of my life, I lost so much weight. So I decided to put really sexy pictures of myself on Facebook. Not nude, but almost. And I had like over 2,000 friends on Facebook, and every single one of them was bad. Almost, some of them were good, but a lot, like almost every one of them was bad mouthing me, spreading fake rumors and everything. And I was supposed to make, supposed to move to New York with this one guy, but they fed him all these rumors, and pretty much everyone on Facebook turned against me, just spreading lies. I was devastated, and a few weeks after, that, my dad smokes, smokes heavily, and I do too, because at the group home that was the only thing that made me feel like an adult, so that's how I got started smoking. But my dad went into cardiac arrest in Costco because he smokes and he had heart issues. And I was there. I watched him go into cardiac arrest. Saw him. When I was talking to him, in the middle of a conversation, he dropped dead, lost his bladder and everything. So, we went back, we went to the hospital. Now he's on sick leave from work, and I'm babysitting him here at the house. He's outside now. But, a couple weeks after that, my parents went to Ocean City for my mom's birthday, and I was, gonna surprise my mom, do something nice for her again. I was gonna sneak back in the house and, throw a little party, have her a birthday cake, since I had $140 that I had from my sugar daddies. I was gonna buy her a nice cake, have some balloons. Well, when I get into the house, my cat is at death's door. I had the window open in the bathroom downstairs, so I could easily get in without having to break in. But my dad went behind me and locked it, so I used a crowbar to get in. Otherwise, I'd be homeless. The whole time they were in Ocean City, I would have nowhere to sleep. So I used a crowbar to break into the house, and you know, found my cat laying in bed, barely alive. So I was taking care of her the whole night, and the whole night. And I was still going to go out and buy my mom a birthday cake and everything the next day. Well, I went to bed. First night ever I was home alone in this house. Because my parents, don't trust me in this house. I don't know what. They treat me like a kid. I'm never allowed to be in this house for a long period of time alone. And I'm 25, it sucks. I'm going to be 26 next month. But, yeah, my cat was at death's door. I woke up to check on her the next day. She was dead. She was dead. So I contacted my dad, told him my plans, and then my parents came home. But when they told me that they were going to call the police on me when they got home, I took a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Tried to kill myself. Now, when they got home, I was totally high. I was extremely high. I didn't die. I was extremely high, though. They told me that I needed to get out. They don't want me going to jail, but they were going to call the police. So I went and saw Florence Foster Jenkins because I love Meryl Streep movies. and I ran through the woods to see it, and then I came back home after the dust settled, and they took Sassy while I was in the woods to get cremated. When I was at the movies, I'm sorry, they took Sassy when I was at the movies to get cremated, and, you know, we had a long talk and everything, and this was about 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks ago this happened. It was August 13th this all went down, August 13th of this year, not too long ago. So, you know, we talked it out and we resolved the issue. Everything's perfect now. Everything's perfect. I'm babysitting my dad. My motto of this story: things may get tough in life, but